Hey guys, Sean, Less Lethal for Dummies. Gonna attempt to put my Byrna back together. Went back and forth on how I was gonna film this. I want it to be as educational as possible. But the truth is, there are some very intricate parts here that probably aren't gonna show up well on camera. So this isn't gonna be a how-to. It's more gonna be I don't know, something that you can use as a basis to put yours back together. Even with my know-how, there is some problem solving that has to go on here. And I'll try and detail it as much as possible. I'm filming kind of from my regular film angle. I would love to have had it zoomed in. I will do my best to show those pieces that maybe have some nuances to them that I believe are critical to the reassembly. But here we go. So, no really reason you should have it disassembled this far, and honestly, I didn't have to either. But for you guys, I thought, hell, I'll just show it anyways. So, your trigger mechanism, your puncture pin you can see in there, and there is a seal in there. God forbid you have to replace that. There may be a right or a wrong way, but this is my way. Okay, trigger mechanism. And this is your barrel, I don't know, we'll call it rotating assembly. So there is a raised boss there that has to interlock with this boss here on the back of the clamshell. So we're gonna put it in like that. Oh, and it's gotta be facing that direction. Whichever direction you wanna call that, I don't know yet. But if you're watching the video on your phone, you can zoom in, just to let you know. Okay, so this has to be in its forward position. So it's got to be like that. See where the alignment of those teeth there? I don't know what position I'm going to call that, but these first two have to line up in this position. Next is your trigger arm. It actually has a boss as well that interlocks right here with that. So we'll try and put it all together. In one shot here. And you can see this is not for the faint of heart, guys. It is not. If you don't have to do this stuff, don't take it apart. And you can see it actually came off. So if you look down inside here, you can sort of, you can reposition it while it's in place here and get it to fall in. There you go. So now you can see it's actually functioning, the trigger arm. The next is you got to get this pin. Oh, and I should have showed you guys. See, there's actually a slot cut in this arm. So this pin has to actually go inside the slot. But what I found is the way I was doing it, it's easier to put it together. Like this. So get it all in there first and worry about the spring last. Now to do that, you just kind of pry up on this trigger arm a little. I get it rested on this raised edge here. And I forgot my pliers. So I need one of those pliers. You got long fingernails, you might be able to do this. I could probably just pluck the pin out even, might be an option, but. So you can see there, I got it set in the groove. I'm gonna kind of just rotate it all back together. And I've lost, I lost that lock on the inside, so let's do that again. There we go. Okay. You see how that works now? All right. So making sure that those first teeth are in that alignment should put your barrel, it should put this in the optimal position to reciprocate it. So you look inside the barrel here. On the bottom edge, okay, let's do it this way. This is the bottom of the barrel. So this side faces your mag well. So you want to make sure that this is down. This allows the round to clear as it's entering the breech here. So, oh, see, my trigger alignment is off. This is supposed to be further forward. Wonderful. Did I lose it all? Nope. We're gonna try and do this in place. I don't know that I can. Okay, that should be correct like that. Oh boy, guys. I really hope this helps somebody. Okay, when you put this barrel back together, you want this kind of bumper here to be in between. Okay, that's correct. So you can see how this bumper is hitting those arms. Okay, now this is where it gets even more difficult. This is the safety mechanism that prevents so when you pull your trigger in safe mode, it punctures the CO2 but doesn't fire. This little piece right here rotates up and rotates down, and it blocks the hammer from hitting the poppet. Or so I've been told. It's a Nelson valve. The correct term for this is Nelson valve, and thank you for that. But it blocks your hammer from hitting the pin on the back. So the orientation of this, you can see those notches in the pin. That is to catch. There's a little detent with a spring and a set screw that goes in the end of your valve right here. And that gives you kind of that notchy feeling. So take note of the direction of this. Those notches, and there's a hex on this, so it only interlocks a certain way. Well, not a certain way, but it goes in increments. So like this, you take it, you insert it into this hole here. And it's important when you do this that it's not up like this. It's got to be down. It fits right, kind of tucked. I wish that shadow wasn't there, you guys. I really need some better lighting, but okay. So yeah, it's got to be tucked right in that corner there. Then use your safety. And you got to get it on the back. And the safety's got to be in the correct orientation. And this is where it gets kind of finicky, because it does have to be in a certain position. Otherwise, it's a no-go. I already see I missed. Missed the hole. So when this is down, it's in the safety. Okay, I'm gonna put this together and then I'm gonna kind of flip it over and show you guys. And this is that very little intricate, and it's actually a T5, you guys, and I bought a T5 for this. Oops, that's not the right one. I bought a T5 Torx for this selector screw, and now I can't find it. So doing it again with the wrong, we're doing it with an Allen key, but it works. Okay. So in this position, it's in safe mode. See how it's pushing down on that trigger arm? So when I move it up into safety, it pushes down on the trigger arm. So the orientation is critical, and it may be something that you kind of have to fiddle with just to get it right. But the action is when your safety is up. So when you put in safe mode, this cam is pushing down on the trigger arm. So hopefully that is clear enough for you guys. Okay. And while we have this front assembly assembled, I'm gonna put the trigger screw back in here. And this will just hold it all in place. Don't snug anything, don't tighten anything right down. I just snugged it up. It'll make it easier if you have to reassemble. Once you know your marker is functioning and you put it back together, then yeah, absolutely. Go around and tighten everything. All right, next. Just to eliminate one other thing, because it's easy and it's sitting on my table and it's bugging me, well, for me, it's my 12-gram Merciless lethal adapter. So I can just put it in like this, and I'm gonna put the screw in again just to hold it in place. some reason this one has always given me a problem. So just be careful you don't cross thread anything. And I'm just gonna double check that, make sure I didn't. Okay, yeah, it's just in there snug, just to hold it in place. We are going to have to, oh shoot, okay. See, I screwed up. I screwed up big time. And it had more to do with what I told you guys already. So you can see the notches on this, I was incorrect. They have to be facing forward to the marker, and currently they are facing up, and then when I rotate the safety, back. So I have to rotate this pin so that it's oriented correctly. That looks correct there. Like I said, it's gonna take some fooling. This thing is not easy to work on. And you know guys, I may save you guys all this big headache, because if nothing comes of this, oops, I push it down for now. If no power is realized, then you have no reason to take it apart. Zilch. Okay. Now that's correct. So, again, now you can see, man, it's really tough to see, but safety on, it's pushing down on the trigger arm, but see those notches on this pin are still facing in the forward direction. Okay, next is we are going to insert the valve, and we have to install the detent that goes in the front here, then a spring, and then a socket set screw. Pick this out here and show you guys. I don't know if it'll catch any of this. Okay, so you see there's a point on this little nub here, this little detent. So the nub goes in, spring, and then the socket set screw backs it up and just keeps it in place. So that happens once you actually drop this guy on. You also need to reinstall, and this is a correction from my air chamber video, this is not a return spring, so to speak. This spring that's on this here appears to just make sure your sear resets. I don't see any other purpose of it. So what you have to do is it fits over that shaft that has the notches in it. Make sure the safety is down. It's not in the way. Your hammer block, whatever you want to call it. And you have to squish this spring up and drop your valve in, like that. And you can kind of press down on it. And at this point, it's loaded with tension, so just be mindful that if you bump this or possibly turn upside down, things might go flying everywhere because there is nothing securing this at this point. There's no screw that you can add in there to keep it in place. So, taking your little detent with the pointed end forward, you have to get it in there. I could probably use tweezers, would be better. But I'm not going to. I got little girly fingers. It's in there, point first. Then your spring goes in next. And then your socket set screw. And I'm just gonna pre-size it so I'm not fumbling around too much. Looks like it's a 5/64. Now, this is where these Bondus keys come in because they have that end on them. I'm hoping I can get this started in here and not screw anything up. What I don't want to do is cross thread anything, obviously, guys. Wow, that's a little bugger. Okay, let's rethink this. I think I should probably have started it outside a little bit. So I'm gonna release the tension on this. That way I can pick up on my air chamber a little bit. So I'm coming in at this thing on a more of a straight angle here. But not lifting it so far that it comes off of this pin. Okay, so that worked. Got it started. Pull it up just a hair more. I believe this screw will just, it's only thread so far in there. It'll stop once you reach its stop point. So you don't need to like tighten it down like super tight. Like that, there you go. I can just feel it just hit the end of the road. Good enough. I'll slip the chamber back down. So I'm just checking. That my safety is now functioning. You can hear it's got an audible click. That means the detent is facing the correct way. It's locking in both positions. I think I'm happy with that. Next guy I gotta put in is we gotta put this brass tube back in here. So it fits in there and it goes into this right here. Like that. So you can see there's a hole there in the trigger, and then there's a hole right there. So this fits into. Now, I would recommend greasing this lightly, obviously. Normally I'd use oil, but this seems like a location that could be problematic for drying out, as no kind of oil might make it into that location. I'm thinking better to go into the air chamber first. Those are little O-rings, guys, so just be careful with them. You want to push straight in. Don't want no funny angles like that. There you go. She went in. And then I'm gonna rotate it into position here by moving the trigger mech instead of the air chamber. And I fastened the trigger mech down, so we're gonna have to take that screw out. I actually just take the barrel out too. That makes it easier. I wonder if I should have put trigger mech in first. Or last, actually. Let's try something here. Yeah. So I think easiest way, guys, I can stick this. I can stick this brass tube in. Don't worry about that after. Okay. Again, we're learning on the fly here, guys, so yes. In hindsight, I should have left this till last, but that's okay. We can still do it this way. But because we are doing it this way, now we have to reset this trigger arm to fit in. And actually, it was quite easy now that I've done it twice or 3 times. All right. Okay, we're getting warmer. We're getting warmer. Brass tube is in. Oh, we should put our barrel back in. Again, remember, notches on the bottom. Make sure we got it lined up there. And you can kind of see the, trying to keep it together here. You can see the motion. Motion of the ocean. All right. For some reason I don't think my, oh yeah, there it is. Okay, now I'm gonna reinstall the trigger mech screw loosely. That way this whole kind of jazz won't just pop out of there. Next, your sear return spring, is what I'm gonna call it. Gotta try and get it on there. Now that my brass tube and all this stuff's attached, guys, obviously, you wanna be careful you don't tweak anything too hard. So I'm just lifting up ever so slightly. I'm gonna squeeze this spring together and slip my air chamber back down and the spring back down. And it wants to kick out, so we're gonna have to be careful about this guy, guys. You can see it's under a lot of tension now. I'll show you what happens here when I'm holding this down, but see that? She wants to push this whole air chamber out. So maybe just for now, we're gonna release the tension because we still have to assemble a bunch of tiny little gadgets in there, and it is gonna be a nightmare. Okay. It's gonna be tough to see, but there are 2 holes on the back of your air chamber right here. Boom and boom. There are 2 little springs that go in there, and I'm not even sure how I'm gonna get those to stay in place, guys, while I reassemble this, but so this is the little spring here. There's 2 of them. Oh. And they go in the back of that valve. Oh boy, is right. I don't even know how I'm going to manage this. So there's one there. There's the second one. Oh yeah, you can see the conundrum that is happening. Could I put grease in there? Oh, and they're already falling out. Yeah, probably. That might be a good idea. But at this point, not 100% sure what the purpose of those are. I mean, they feel like they're there to kick back the actual sears. Oh, little bugger got stuck in there. This is where the magnetic tray comes in handy, guys. So it's designed to kick back the sear. There's actually 2 of them, which is strange. Again, I don't know the exact reason for the mechanics of this, or even I'm not really familiar with this at all. I don't think anybody is. How I got this back together. So I've taken it apart once. Important to note, there are 2 sears. Oh yeah, this one's under tension now. Well, let's just take this all apart here. Okay. So, there's this sear. It goes down on this half of the marker, and there is a little plastic washer that goes in between. And it's sandwiched with the second sear. So it looks something like this. You can see they move independently, which I still don't understand why. It might just be a redundancy built in. I mean, it has to be. So it assembles like that. Just don't forget that little plastic washer between the two and on your shaft. There's your hammer. And there's also this sort of cam plate here. Okay, so first is the little sear. So we're assembling on this side. It's gonna be the little sear first. Now, it might make more sense to try and put these springs in now. And we're doing it the correct way. Put a little spring in there first, and the smaller sear. Like that. Then my plastic washer, other spring, other little spring. Now the big sear with the cam action on it. Put that next. Now this is all going to be backwards now, so I gotta reverse think it. All right, so another thing I've noticed in hindsight here, I actually have this shaft or tube backwards. And I noticed this when I went to put my screw through just to see the alignment. You can see, well, no nut's ever gonna tighten on the end of that. So I gotta flip this around. So as it turns out, it goes like this. Let's try that again. There we go. Alignment seems much better. And you can also see the trigger arm, and it lines up with the notch that's on this hammer here as well. So that was never gonna happen the way I had it. So this tube does have to go the other direction. It also has to be pushed all the way down. There we go. You can see now it's pushed all the way down. So that lip that's there actually kind of retains the helical spring. Let's see if that doesn't make it any easier. Probably not, but I came equipped with a new tool. One of my little dental picks, a little hoop on the end. I'm hoping I can snag this hammer spring and pull it around to interlock with that notch on the back. So let's see how this goes. Oh, I forgot to put in my adjuster here. So that is how it has to be oriented. But you can see the tip of this hammer spring sticking out here has to be all the way around this side. So it's got to be loaded up with tension. And that is going to be easier said than done, but all right. We are still trying to get this hammer spring locked into place. I wonder. Huh. It went in. Oh boy. But you can see I don't have my fucking my other spring on here. So I'm trying to keep all of this down over here while doing this, and it's not very conducive to doing so. You know what, guys? In the essence of trying to get this to stay together, I'm gonna thread the nut on there while I try and set the spring, because at this point, I'm gonna pull my hair out. Come on. So this should keep it intact while I do this, if I can get it started. Okay. Deep breaths. Easy now. So I gotta get this spring in. Then I have to remove that nut and try and get the other case half on. Man. We are in some risky territory here, guys. Oh. No, you don't. Rotate this a little bit here. Oh, fuck you. Just get in there. Okay, not exactly how I wanted to do it, but can we keep this thing together now? I think it's together. It's almost lined up here. Looks like it's just as, oh, it's not lined up. There we go. Okay. Definitely not for the faint of heart, guys. Oh my gosh. Let's put some screws in this thing before it... pops again. And here's hoping it's correct. Yeah, here, this one goes through. Trigger. Just snugging them, not tightening them all down too crazy just yet. This long guy goes through here. That guy goes there. And this little guy goes up front. This is the one that I always feel like I could cross thread it, so I'm being careful not to. Okay, springs in. I have to put my safety in. Where are we? We're in safe right now. So there's a hex on this, remember guys, so. Oh, let's see, does it function? Safety does function. Safety fit. I don't hear anything boinging inside. Oh my God, you guys, you don't understand. Break time. Okay guys, well, I had to take another breather. Woo, she's stressful putting something like this back together. Would I do it again? Well, that remains to be seen. Can I do it again? Yes. Knowing what I know now, probably wouldn't have struggled so much with that particular hammer spring. Hopefully, this helped you guys in some way. I'll just finish it off and then we'll test fire it. So it's in safe mode right now. And it's in fire now. And I know it's correct because that click is the hammer hitting. So it's good. At least I believe it's good. So just to finish the installation, we will place the top back on here. So, oh, losing my spring. So you take those two little itty bitty springs, you balance them precariously in the little holes on the top. Take your indicator. It's got two sort of divots on the other side, and then this sort of curved section here. It rides this little channel. And take your top slide and carefully place it on there, like so. And then you need your little bar, your wire guide, whatever you want to call it. Just slip it back through. Now, somebody gave me a little tip, and that is put a little bit of lube on the guide, or on the bar, and it should slide in much easier than I was having issues with. And it should be noted that the bar goes in the curve to the top. So you can see the curve like that. And then send her home. Try and keep it straight, I guess. Oh, my hands are greasy. Oh, my fingers are sore. Well, let's try it the other way. Let's push down on it. How's that sound? Probably if I had a nice hard table to press down on, it'd be better. Well, I think that's sufficient anyways. That way if I need to get it out after we test fire it, well, just to confirm it works, I won't be doing the official feet per second test, but we do got to know it works. So let's do that. All right, test fire. Obviously because of the nature of the Byrna, and it's not supposed to fire in safe mode. If you've done the unthinkable like I have and taken one apart, I would highly recommend you're pointing it in a safe direction when you do your test fire. So I have a 12-gram Crossman loaded up. It's in safe. I did go over all the screws and tightened them up. Kind of left that out at the end of the video because it was like, whew. So test fire. See if it punctures and doesn't kick off. It's good. Didn't pop. Well, I heard the CO2 pop, but it did pop off a shot of air. Good, good, good. Sounded different though when I popped it. Hopefully that's a good sound different. All right. louder. Last round. It works. You didn't think I was gonna show you the feet per second, did you? That's for another video. But it's back together successfully. Until the next one, like, subscribe, and you'll see.